Yo, what's going on, guys? Here to talk everything MLB The Show 24. This year, I'm really trying my hand at becoming a MLB The Show 24 content creator. We'll see how well that goes, but right now, that's kind of the goal. So, what I wanted to discuss in this video is all of the things that have been discussed so far, as well as the things that are coming up, and also what you should probably be doing night one when the game goes live, whether you're getting it tonight or you're getting it tomorrow midday, kind of like I am with the collector's edition. So we'll be picking that up probably around 10 a.m. and then going live on Twitch and YouTube probably sometime around 3 o'clock. Now I know there's 100 videos out here covering all this stuff, saying roughly the same thing. Everyone kind of has the same ideas. So we're just gonna kind of get right into it, talk about a couple things that have already been announced, and then move into what you should probably try to start doing on night one. But for frame of reference, I also want to let you know that there is a live content feature premiere today at 3 p.m. Pacific, which is 6 p.m. Eastern, where they're going to talk about a lot more upcoming content, probably announce some surprises, and expect this to be a really big uh, content content stream. So we'll be seeing that later on tonight. Earlier last week, I guess it was like kind of towards the end of February, they posted a developer blog that laid out some of the changes in Diamond Dynasty, which is the only mode that I really play. I won't be talking Road to Show. If you play that, you might want to find that content somewhere else. But we focus mainly on Diamond Dynasty, and a lot of the things that they indicated on the developer blog was really good information, and I think the community reacted really well to it. I think the one of the biggest sticking points for me right here was fewer high tier 99 overalls at the start of each season, which is a major change from 23. I didn't like getting 99s that early. I like the creep. I like starting out a little bit lower, kind of building your team up, and then getting those 99s a little bit later in the year. I think when you get them too early, kind of takes away some of the chase. So I definitely like that. Um, they are talking about resetting teams at the end of each season or resetting cards. So there'll be more wild card slots. And last year, I think we just had one. Now this year we get four. So you'll be able to take, a couple pitchers, couple batters from each season and bring them forward. Seasons are now 12 weeks long, which I think is also a good adjustment change. And there's more ways to earn and sell high tier cards. One of my main complaints about last year is I thought the marketplace was a little bit dead in comparison to what it was in 22. I thought 22 offered a lot of opportunities to make stubs, and 23 was kind of lacking in that department. It was a little bit more difficult, I thought. So I really just focused on gameplay last year and not so much marketplace stuff as I did in 22. So that was kind of a little bit of a change there. Team Affinity expands to 3 chapters each season. We saw Team Affinity last year in three different versions, or three or four, I think, later on in the year. But now it's expanded to 3 chapters each season, so that should be good. And then free cornerstone cards and starter packs for players at the start of each new season. And we'll talk about those cornerstone cards a little bit later in the video. Those look really interesting. So looking forward to that. They kind of talked about in-season cards, how this display will go. I really like some of the font choices that they're using. It's kind of like spray paint type font, and I think a lot of that will revert to some of the Derek Jeter stuff. Is kind of where some of that came from. Some of the menus have started to come out in leaked pictures, and then they had the developer games yesterday as well, so you got to see a little bit more menu stuff from that. So here's some of the cornerstone cards. These are like the captains that we had last year. They give a boost. And these are the first four that they announced. I do have a screenshot of Greg Maddox's stats a little bit later in the video, and kind of how that boost the other players. So Arenado, Byron Buxton, Kota Sengai, and Greg Maddox, two pitchers, two hitters here. There's obviously going to be more, and just like we saw with captains last year, although the captains weren't super useful after a while, they didn't last very long. So hopefully the cornerstones last a little bit longer than the captains did last year because they kind of faded out real quick. There is a content schedule update. They are talking about a lot more content coming in a faster pace than it did last year, which is crazy because I thought last year we got a pretty good amount of content. Season 1 XP reward path. We see some hitter captains in here. We see balling in the habit packs are coming back. Change the graphic on that a little bit. We've got headliners. We've got pitcher captains. So kind of your normal XP reward path as you kind of move through season 1, kind of what we're familiar with. Sellable rewards and free packs weekly. So it sounds like content. This was a big change that people were really happy with. Was Battle Royal Flawless is now 10-0 instead of 12-0. I've never been able to get 12-0, so I don't know that I'll even be able to get 10-0. So not really a concern for me here. But events now last for 2 weeks, give me a little more time to earn those rewards. I think that's huge. So a lot of times last year there were events, and if I was out of town or something, and I came back, there was just no way to get those, 25, 35, however many wins you needed to get max rewards or kind of climb that path. If you missed one weekend, you were kind of out of it. So not really a lot of time there. So now 2 weeks is kind of good. It may devalue some of those cards because it's going to give a lot more people the opportunity to get them, but you're still going to have to get out there and play event. You're still going to have to really get into it. This is a kind of listing of how you're going to be able to get rewards from various different modes. Some people only play certain modes and they weren't able to get things. Sounds like they've addressed that a little bit. They haven't really seen it in full detail yet, but I know we will. This is the ranked 1 program. There's also these new packs called Millionaire, so kind of interesting to see what comes from that. I don't know that they've detailed that yet. Then we also have the season cadence. So season 1, chapter 1 at launch, chapter 2 is at mid-April, and then chapter 3 in May. Fans can unlock 30 new player cards, one from each MLB team, as well as Team Affinity. In each edition, new unlocks and packs will be aplenty, and reward paths to customize your profile and rep your favorite team. Then we can look for TA Chapter 1 bosses in Team Affinity at launch, including new legend Brian Dozier and Vlad Guerrero from last year. So really good stuff coming out here. Couple question and answers, and then also the Team Affinity progress, much like we saw last year. Tally 8 innings with the AL East pitcher, so on and so forth. So, and then there was this hidden image back here. Some people have dissected that they think it's Willie Mays, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Let's talk about Digital Deluxe Edition, which comes out tonight at 9 p.m. for some people, or during the day tomorrow if you got the actual physical edition. It includes a full digital game, 4-day early access for March 15th, double daily login rewards. We saw that last year, and then 1 Barrier Breakers Diamond Choice Pack. So I assume that's going to come from, I'm assuming it's either going to be female talent or someone from Negro Leagues. They didn't indicate what that might actually be, so we'll have to see. I don't think the female talent that they announced for Road to the Show is going to be in Diamond Dynasty, so this is probably going to be one of the Negro League players that have been announced. We get 1 Legend Diamond Choice Pack, we get 5 Gold Choice Packs, an Equipment Pack, a Cover Athlete Bat Skin, 20 Show Packs, and then 20K Stubs. So I kind of always go for this every year. I went physical this year just because I wanted to go for the hat. I have all the hats from all the previous editions, but I didn't get the hat last year, and I kind of kicked myself in the butt for not doing it. But this year we're on it, so we will have that tomorrow. The next thing is this was previewed during the developer tournament yesterday, and this is the live series rewards for each team. So some very interesting things to be found in here. I won't go over each one, but it is interesting that some of these are a little bit lower than I kind of expected, especially with like the Red Sox having an 83 Andre Dawson. That seems really low for a live series collection, but it's all going to depend on, how many diamonds these teams have as well. So 87 Cal Ripken obviously is really good. This 90 Roy Oswalt for Houston will be good. Probably hard to collect that one. Um, and then they got Grady Sizemore for Cleveland. I thought this one was interesting. Cliff Lee for the Mariners. I don't really resonate Cliff Lee with the Mariners, but it's there nonetheless. So some of the 90s, obviously Bernie Williams for the Yankees. So you're going to have uh, some big cards in that collection to get that 90, as well as that Nolan Ryan, which is going to require Mike Trout, as we know. So a couple more here. This is for the NL. Less diamonds in the NL than there are in the AL, which is kind of concerning. The Braves one will obviously require Acuna, and that will get you Craig Kimbrel. So kind of move those cards into those sets in order to unlock these. Some of these may not be so desirable, such as 80 overall Tim Raines, but it depends on how we're building our team. Speaking of those legends that we talked about earlier, some new legends in the game this year. Bernie Williams, kind of excited for that. Adrian Beltre, that should be huge. And then Johan Santana, this one's gonna be fire. I feel like this card's gonna really change the game in some instances. Tony Olivier will be good, and then one more I thought will be a real game changer is Andy Pettitte. So that's gonna be a huge card in the show this year. Also, when they talked about Team Affinity, they kind of announced the Team Affinity captains, or what they're calling the Season 1, Chapter 1, Team Affinity players. Some interesting choices in here as well, but this is the NL Central. They've not announced the NL East or the NL West yet. That'll be coming later on today. Definitely desiring at Sammy Sosa. The Sammy card last year was amazing, so we definitely want to get our hands on that. This is the AL Central. Zach Greinke, Brian Dozier coming as a new legend this year as well. Emmanuel Clase will be desirable, and as well as Abreu. So they did announce all the AL though. So here's the AL East. We got Cedric Mullins for the Orioles, which I'll highly be after that one, and all of these are 89 overall. So this Jose Leclerc will be desirable, and Ricky Henderson. Obviously, people really dig Ricky cards for the stolen base abilities. So the other thing that I mentioned earlier to talk about is the cornerstone cards. This is kind of the cornerstone pack art. I'm sure there's going to be more, but these are the ones that they've displayed so far. So maybe we get more information on that this afternoon. And this is the new character screen. This is the captain. These are the tier boost. They also dropped the parallel requirement this year, so it's going to be easier to get that level 5 parallel. Looking forward to that. They did leak this during the dev tournament yesterday. That these are the captains or the feature rewards for ranked. So it looks like McCutchen, Randy Johnson, and Ernie Banks at 93, 93, and 91 overall. But that's not 100% confirmed, but those were leaked in the dev tournament yesterday. Something else that was leaked by Gomer, he put this out there. This is the Derek Jeter captain card for finishing the Jeter set, we think, 85 overall. So that'll be something to look forward to as well. So, and then this was screenshots from the Derek Jeter story modes line, where you kind of go through the subway map, knock out these challenges, 4 total bases in one game, going through the years of Derek Jeter's career. And then I think, just guessing, once you finish that, you'll kind of wind up with this Derek Jeter card. So that's kind of what I think will probably be a day one starter for me. I think the other thing that I'll start on day one is finishing the Negro League programs. I didn't start that early last year, and I kind of regretted it. There were some really good rewards in there. So the storyline modes from the main menu that were a little bit outside of Diamond Dynasty, you could go in and finish those off, and you would get diamond versions of those players. And I waited too long to really get in on that. And number one, the stories were really good. The narrator was fantastic, and yeah, you got really good rewards. So I think the first thing we do tomorrow when we open the game is go through those storyline modes, go through the Derek Jeter mode, and then start to build out teams for team affinity. So if you've done team affinity in the past, you know that you want to build a team all from one division. I almost always focus on AL East, obviously. So build a team full of all AL East players and then just play game modes over and over and over so that you get that team affinity progress and start unlocking those team affinity rewards. And I usually finish like one division at a time. So once I finish all AL East and I get to the complete 100% of it, I'll flip that lineup to an AL Central lineup, and then I'll run through all AL Central team affinity stuff. So that's kind of what I'll do on day one. I'll start with the Negro League storylines. I'll start with the Derek Jeter storyline stuff, and then I'll move right into team affinity. I don't know when we'll get into like some ranked gameplay. Ranked co-op, obviously tomorrow night at some point, but ranked solo probably sometime over the weekend once we start to unlock some more cards, flesh out the lineup a little bit. So if you guys are looking for MLB 24 content this year, I ask that you hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video and the limited amount of content and stuff that I was able to display, I know there's millions of content creators out there for MLB The Show. Everyone's great. Everyone does really good jobs at detailing some of this information. And a lot of people are saying the same things, right? There's only so much stuff that you can cover right now. But give this video a thumbs up, man. Hit the subscribe. Come back as we progress through MLB 24 and we try our hardest to get a World Series banner this year, as well as just completely grind this game like we never have before. I mean, we went really hard last year, but this year we're talking about really taking the cover off and digging into MLB The Show 24 and creating a lot more content, creating a lot more streams. And I hope that you're here for it, man. I'd love to have you.